Hi, Fightful Faithful. It's Tuesday. The All-Star game is on if you're a baseball fan. If you are, there's no way you watched NXT, and so you were spared from the horror that we witnessed. Kate, tell them about the stuff we're supposed to do at the beginning of the show.
Hey, this is your NXT post show for July 11th. Guys, get in your super chats and your humper chats at humperchats.com. Subscribe to the Fightful channel right here. We are creeping closer to that 100,000 milestone. We are putting up content that is exclusively for subscribers, which is something we hadn't really done before. We were just using subscription to help you guys stay informed of when shows go live and stuff. But now we're actually doing stuff with them old subscriptions. And please leave a thumbs up on this video. It's the best free way to support us. It helps people find us in the algorithm. It's unbelievably helpful. But most of all, $5 buckaroos. Throw them down on the table. Don't really throw them down on the table. Use a credit or debit card. But go over to FightfulSelect.com and subscribe for all sorts of information that is coming out. Man, oh man. It's a wild little summer. We've got a lot going on. There's a lot happening at Fightful Select. You get all the scoops in the whole wide world. Okay? You get a bunch of bonus content. You get me and Alex reviewing pay-per-views and plays. And we're just basically living the dream at Fightful Select. So if you want accurate breaking news, if when people are mean to Sean for no reason online and are like, oh, Sean reported that Kate is joined the Bullet Club. No, that's never been the case. Go to FightfulSelect.com and get your information from the source. Or, the source's source. Sean's accurate. That's all I'm saying.
That's what you're saying.
It's the best $5 in the biz, Alex.
It is.
Do you know how much I spend on, an iced coffee at Starbucks when I go?
Too much.
Too much. Probably more than a month's worth of Fightful Select. So I'm a white girl, and I gotta get my mocha choca bullshit on. You know what I mean? Oh, I said a swear in the first 5 minutes. We're never getting monetized.
No, never. I went with my daughter to the drive-thru of Starbucks, or a local Starbucks, for Mother's Day, to as part of a breakfast in bed that I didn't have to prepare in the kitchen.
Well played. Is it? I feel like your local Starbucks should be called your local coffee facility. In true WWE speak.
Mm-hmm. And I went to the drive-thru, and I was like, yeah, I'll just because my wife's into the Frappuccino stuff. Can I just get what do they call? What's the small one? Tall. I just want a tall, mocha Frappuccino thing. It's like, that'll be $8 or whatever it was. I was like, no, I'm sorry. No, I could have gotten an iced coffee from the gas station across the street for 99 cents. Yeah. It's twice the size of this, sir. What are we doing? I'll tell you what we're doing tonight. Watching NXT. You know what the one saving grace has been about NXT for the last, year?
The Sour Graps Society and all you wonderful people that support us.
That, and also, I didn't have to watch Dominik on Tuesdays. Kate, I gotta watch Dominik on Tuesdays now too.
I can't with this fella.
Oh,
I can't, no. Man. Come on, what are we doing?
But because it's the All-Star game tonight, baseball puns all night. Baseball puns. So that'll be fun. We got
for every baseball pun you send in, I will name an obscure mid-90s Yankee. How about that?
Awesome. That's good. That's great.
I figured your night wasn't bad enough with how bad NXT was tonight. So let me just throw out Chad Curtis at you and see what happens. You know what I mean? Let's do that.
That's good. Excellent. So yeah, this is true. The NXT Monkey Paw. We wanted Dominik to go back to NXT because he needs to learn how to wrestle. What we didn't want him to do is to show up and like just take over the whole show and make it all about himself 2 weeks in a row at least. This is not like your regular Tuesday night. We're going to call the show. We're going to give the show a name on Tuesday night this week. They're doing a honest to God, like traveling PLE, a play for the NXT. It's not a takeover anymore. It's a plecover. It's a plecover. They're doing a plecover.
Not a plecover.
They're doing a plecover in Dallas, I guess. Texas? Somewhere in Texas.
It's in Texas.
And for the Great American Bash. And man, it sure looks like none of the people who are taking over this television show for several weeks at a time are going to be involved in that for NXT. And it feels like that's a dumb thing to do. To do that. Like, listen, I don't want to see the Judgment Day on Great American Bash, but they kind of have to be if they're going to be like the main characters of the weekly TV show for several weeks. You know what I mean? Leading up to the Great American Bash. But as of tonight, it's just like, no, we already crowned a number one contender he's already got the match versus Carmelo at Money in the Bank. Not Money in the Bank. Oh, Jesus. Great American Bash. That's already done. And the guy that Dominik is having an open challenge against next week, that's not actually an open challenge. That guy already has a match booked for that show. Rhea is not facing anybody.
They're going to make it a triple threat. They're going to make it a triple threat, and I'm going to hate myself and my life. And you for asking me to do this show 2 years ago at this point-ish. Like, they're going to put Dominik in what should be an incredible match.
Yeah.
Like, incredible. Wesley versus Mustafa Ali, incredible. Yeah. You throw Dominik in there? Oh, he's playing possum. Come on.
No, Dominik pinning Mustafa Ali to become the new NXT North American champion is on the table.
I'll quit.
We should both tender our resignation live on the air. Yeah. And then just walk out of frame and leave the thing recording and broadcasting as protest. I don't know how that helps anybody, but you know.
Yeah. Well, people can still send in chats. We just can't read them on air. You can still support us. We're just not going to do our job anymore.
Listen, we barely do our job now.
They're not doing theirs. Why should I?
I watched 40% of this show on my phone, and by watch, I mean it was laying on the table next to me while I was doing other things. I barely do my job now. I hate this show so much. And
I had it on my screen. I just also had the All-Star game on.
Right. Listen. Judgment Day is does too much. It's just too much. It's all the time. It's too much. I don't know why it's just too much. They don't need to they don't fly them all down to Orlando just to screw with the show. Like, the show is bad enough to begin with. Don't do worse things with it. You know?
Well, it's annoying because we got a really good pre-taped episode last week.
Mm-hmm.
And then this one, which will have, more viewers because it's not on the 4th of July.
Right. Well, it's not on 4th of July. Yeah.
Had egregious logic gaps. Like, egregious logic gaps. Yep. The Creeds are standing there in the Party City masks. What are we doing?
Oh, man. It's
Dominik, who can't act already, is being given creative, pretending there's an open challenge, accepting that open challenge, and then pushing the match to next week. What are we doing?
I don't know.
Garbage.
So before we get into running down what was outside of a fantastic match in the middle of the show that should have been on the pay-per-view. Just a truly awful episode of NXT.
Well, it's nice to have the consistency because Raw was atrocious.
That's true. Well, I wanted to send some love to one of the most consistent members of the SGS here. Orion Ben says, been in a dark place since losing my dad a month ago. He's the one who fostered my love for this crazy world. But I'd like to thank Alex, Kate, the SGS, Fightful for helping me keep that love alive. You folks aren't paid a tenth of what y'all are worth. Thank you. Thank you. I'm just going to go ahead and copy and paste that into an email and send that right over to Sean Rossap. I'm gonna CC Jimmy Van. I'm gonna say I anticipate a 90% raise in my next paycheck.
That's gonna go really well for us.
No, Ryan Ben said so. I'm sorry. That's what they say goes. So
if that guy ain't the authority, I don't know who is.
No.
I'm sorry that you're feeling the. I'm not sorry for it because that means I heard like that thing that grief is unexpressed love. So I'm sorry that you're feeling the pain of that, but I'm glad that you had a strong enough connection with your dad.
Yeah.
I know I always talk about how much I hate my dad on a weekly basis on this show. So
yeah. Yes.
We love you here. We're happy to provide an outlet. That's always the biggest compliment that we get is that we can provide some sort of relief, but take it one day at a time. That's all you can do anyway, right?
Yeah. JB Pringle saying, awesome Alex, Kate the Magnificent, the man, the myth, the legend, Papa Paul, Elizabeth, sisters, Alpha Bill, Jam Man, Louise, and all the SGS family. Happy Tuesday. Free Tony D. Well, it looks like Tony D is getting free, so that's nice.
It does.
Matt hold on here. And Paul Elizabeth says, let's raise a glass to the master of the roll call, JB Pringle. Have a great Tuesday, everyone. SGS for life. Thank you, Papa
Thanks,
Paul.
Dad.
Also, Paul Elizabeth reminding us it is July, so for the love of God, keep cool, gabagools.
Gabagools. I encourage you to get into air conditioning.
It's a hot one out there.
It is.
That's for sure. And Jelly Canuck says, come in. He said Coke in, but he meant come in. During my break at work, with Kate shaking her head is the same way I feel about what's been happening today. Just know that all of you at Fightful are awesome.
Thank you. You're awesome. Thanks for the chat. Sorry, work is stupid.
Well, let's do some baseball puns here right away. Meet Norma says, sup, partners? When he played baseball as a kid, Rey Mysterio once hit into a 619 double play. I don't think that's technically possible because that's like shortstop to pitcher to something in the outfield. I don't know how that would happen unless that guy was way out of position to tag out Rey Mysterio. But
it would be a wacky one. But for your baseball pun, I award you one obscure mid-90s Yankee, and I will go with Graham Lloyd, lefty specialist.
Nice.
There you go. And frequent, if there's a fight, that guy's coming in to beat people up.
Didn't he have like a crazy underhand delivery, kind of a weird like sidearm deal? Or am I thinking?
He did.
An
Australian fella with a delivery from down under.
There you go. See, I remembered some things. Like that's back when I used to watch baseball and pay attention to things.
Back when baseball was man.
CO says St. Louis Cardinals.
I award you Shane Spencer.
Nice.
Who twisted his knee on the drainage system in the outfield and was never the same again, but hit like 8 grand slams in the month of September once. Claim to fame.
Alpha Bill says scores a touchdown. Baseball.
The one really good thing about Raw yesterday was Chelsea Green, and I will award you John Wetland, Yankee closer before Mariano Rivera, who got wiped away by Mariano Rivera's legacy.
JW Pringle says CM Bunt and one winged angel in the outfield.
Very good. Very good.
We also got Lieutenant Photo also gave us a CM Bunt as well. So
CM Bunt. CM Bunt. I reward you Jimmy Key and Ramiro Mendoza.
Wow, Jimmy Key.
We're going deep into the well.
There you are. Ethan Smith says NXT ball.
Oh, that's really good.
Mm-hmm.
You get a Scott Brocious.
Mm-hmm. Here's one from me. I have massive ball for. Take your base.
Ooh.
There you go. See?
You don't have tiny ball fours?
No. I have massive ball for. Ricardo El Notorio says all Starbucks home run derby.
Very good.
Mm-hmm.
I give you Mike Stanton.
Insert clever Tegan Knox pun says Boston Red Sox, Boston Red Knox, and Chicago White Knox.
Those umpires are terrible. They always miss things. I give you Tim Raines.
Don't forget the Black Knox scandal because there's a great movie about that called 8 Man Out.
That's
right. Insert Cleveland Tegan Knox pun says T-ball Knox. Arja 288 says Romine Reigns.
Tony Fernandez.
CO says Trenton Thunder Beretta and Chuck Knobloch Taylor.
I'll just let Chuck Knobloch sit there for you, but if you need a fun Chuck Knobloch fun fact, he hit Keith Olbermann's mom with an errant throw.
Wow. Chi-Town Spurs says Yankee Evans. Not Lacey Evans, but Yankee Evans.
So traditional.
And JD Pringle.
Cecil Fielder. Sorry, go ahead.
Says home run derby, Alan.
That's very good.
Okay.
LEC's cheated and texted me, but Amazing Reds is really, really good, as is Aaron Judgment Day.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, that's actually bad. I'm going to talk about that because the Judgment Day come out to cut a promo, and they all talk about how great, this is the house that I built. I'm Daddy's home. And no, that is Tommaso Ciampa. We're here. Then you could say that, but no.
Or Johnny Gargano.
Yeah, no. Daddy's home is a trademarked copyrighted phrase from Tommaso Ciampa. But what I didn't like about this is that Damian Priest says that they were the murderer's row of factions. All right, you might be able to convince me, that Finn and Damian are Babe and Lou Gehrig. But unless...
Even that's stretching it. Come on, Jeff.
Hold on, because honestly, there's only two guys in Murderer's Row that I can name. I had to look it up. Unless Earl Combs is tripping over his feet running to first, there's no Dominik Mysterio in Murderer's Row.
That's actually very sound. So well played.
Also, I don't know if Rhea is Mark Koenig or Bob Musel or Tony Lazzari.
Tony Lazzari just feels right. I can't explain why.
Yeah. By the way, that was 1927. That was Murderer's Row was a thing in 1927, but that is the beginning of it. It is fully almost 100 years old. It is. So.
It was basically when the Yankees started their Roman Reigns era.
Yeah, that's good stuff. They're talking crap, and then Trick and Mello come out and they talk crap, and Trick almost does another prison rape joke. I mean, he does. He just doesn't say the final. He's just like, hey, did they call you Dirty Dom because of all the times you dropped the hey now? Don't say that. Okay, I won't. It's just basically all prison rape jokes all the time. It's
hysterical
WWE programming. Yeah, wonderful.
All of the tasteless stuff about the 2000s.
Yep.
With none of the comedic value.
Right. All of the jokes that that felt naughty to watch when you were a child. They're back, but none of the compelling personalities who told those jokes are around. So they then basically Melo challenges them to a tag match for the main event, and they don't accept it in the ring for some reason, and then immediately later they're like, "Oh, it's made official." Like it doesn't like what just say you're on. They don't. I don't know what they did that.
I don't know why either. I don't know why they issued an open challenge for next week. That wasn't like just make the matches, man.
Yeah. They did a Tony D Zoom interview.
They sure did.
And Tony D is like, "Hey, can we wrap this up quick? It's chow time, and JoJo is finishing up my steak." So he's getting preferential treatment in county lockup, waiting for his arraignment. Good for him.
I thought for sure to ruin your night, they were going to have Dominik go to prison. I thought for sure, just to drive the stake into your heart further.
Yeah. But no, he's wow. They really don't know how to tell stories.
That is correct.
I don't know how to. I'm going to talk more about this when we get to that match. But none of what is happening in this interview makes any sense considering how they handled the match later tonight. And also nothing that happened there was a one-on-one scene a few weeks ago where Tony D and Stax were talking. And that scene doesn't make any sense considering that they were working together the whole time. Spoiler alert. We'll talk about that when we talk about the match. None of this makes any sense. If that scene was never actually filmed and shown to us, you could make me believe that all of this was a plan from the beginning, but no.
Nope.
No. So Gigi cut a promo. What does she call herself? Something. I don't. She used her own name as like a. She gave herself a nickname. I can't remember what it was, but it was like, what is that?
I don't have it in my notes, but I remember something feeling out of place.
Yeah. It was like she and whatever. When
you poured fresh cans of paint on me.
You poured cane on me, so then I redecorated your office. But I am my own self. I'm me. I'll always be me. I'm the real me. But you're hiding who you really are. And then she's like,
I was like, well, not all of you, because she's a port accountant.
Cut to Kiana in the locker room watching a TV, and obviously the stuff on the screen in the locker room is stuff we didn't get to see. It's like, oh no, how do I delete these? Instagram, just tapping her phone, like, oh no, how do I delete these? Instagram, archive, oh no, delete. Why isn't this working? Like, Kiana, I know you use a phone. Pretend to use a phone like a human being and not like somebody handed a phone to a chimp. Like, I don't know. So
it's like a Peanuts, when Schroeder plays the piano.
Yes.
Ding, ding, ding,
yes,
ding.
that is exactly what it is. But apparently all the other girls in the behind her can see what she wants deleted. So there are only two options here. Kate. One option is that she used to be ugly.
Of course.
And that's something she wants to hide and something worthy of being ashamed of. Or
like braces and frizzy hair, probably.
Whatever. Like she says, like, that's not me anymore. That's not me anymore. So like she's changed. Or she used to do like OnlyFans stuff. And like that now I don't do that anymore. Now I'm a high powered businesswoman, and that is something I don't want anybody to get out and do all that kind of stuff or whatever. So like it's either going to be you used to be ugly, but now you're hot, and you don't want anybody to know that you used to be ugly, or just straight across slut shaming. And
after they released Mandy Rose,
after they released, yeah. There you go. Thank you, Alpha Bill. HGGTV is what she said. Your office got remodeled courtesy of HGGTV. And I was like, okay, fine. All right. Sure.
I don't believe for a second that Gigi Dolan would give this extent of a crap about someone spilling paint on her clothes.
There were some old photos of Kiana doing graffiti in the promo, which neither of us saw, so probably not prominently displayed enough in the promo.
Yeah, and I was also probably watching.
Well, I mean, still.
So Kiana used to be an artist. That's going to be her big. I was wondering if that's where they were going to go with
this. That's not me anymore.
She used to be an outcast, is where I figured this was going. She was not cool back in the day. Right? That's what we're going to get out of this, was my thoughts.
She used to be a graffiti artist, which is an infinitely more compelling personality than
generic businesswoman who might be in real estate. Yeah.
Business lady. Buy, sell, then sell it and buy it. Like, I mean,
merge, I say. Merge at once.
Yeah, she was spray painting with Amari Miller, apparently. That would, I don't know. We'll have to see. At least it's not the thing I was worried about. This is not that.
No, I figured they wouldn't go there because that's even for them a little much for like a baby face to be doing to a heel.
I don't know, man.
But like, why is a face exposing a heel in this way too? Like, I don't know. I have a hard time with like, oh, you were an outcast as a kid, and now here you are as a wrestler. Those are very different. Every wrestler was an outcast as a kid. Like, I don't know.
The first match of the night is Chase University versus Drew Gulak and Charlie Dempsey. You will be unsurprised to know that I watched none of this. I heard it, but did not watch it.
It's pretty good.
The only thing I looked at was Thea Hale getting Drew Gulak at a Kimura on the outside of the ring, and Vic Joseph trying. I don't. I don't think that that the ref can see what Thea Hale is doing from his vantage point. Sure, Vic. We'll just go with that. All right, that's fine.
It's hard to see through all the champagne wishes and caviar dreams, Alex.
God, man. I honestly believe 35% of the words uttered by Booker T today were yeah.
Oh, yeah. I think they just have a soundboard. Did you ever watch the Craig Ferguson show when it was on?
Yes.
Booker T is Jeff the Robot Skeleton. Do you remember the sidekick who was a robot skeleton?
Jeff the Robot Skeleton. Yeah.
He initially was just like a soundboard, and then they put a comedian and gave him a live mic. But Booker T is Jeff the Robot Skeleton when he just had the presets, and they're champagne wishes and caviar dreams. That Kid's Got Heart and Chucky Ducky Quack Quack. Like, there's 4, and they fill up 70% of the time with them. The match was actually pretty good. Duke Hudson's great. Like, he did this Michinoku driver thing off the top rope, that like Michinoku driver slam thing. That was really great. Andre Chase, Harlem Bravado, whatever, was like pretty good in his return match. Like, this was good. And then the other side is just, they're 2 great wrestlers, right? So that was fine. Like, this story is is now at least logically told to a point where it can, and it's not going to be your taste, but like it's making wrestling sense, which is a lot more than I used to be able to say about it. And the in-ring was pretty good here too. And Thea Hale is very silly and fun. Mm-hmm. But I also, this is Alpha Academy, right? Like, how are they gonna call them up to the main roster if they have like babyface girl who shouldn't stand a chance and two people that, like, you know what I mean? It's just at least the same thing.
Yeah, no, it's you can't run when gimmicks are that similar. You can't run two of them at the same time, obviously. So,
yeah, they'd have to like.
They got to do something about it, but I don't know what. Yeah, I don't know. So the Chase U won, yeah. Yes. No.
Yes, Chase U won, right?
All right.
Let me look at my notes. They won in my heart. You can't rely on me to have good notes. You gotta warn me if I'm gonna have good notes. I rely on you for that. I write down spots I like and things that are dumb, but I don't write down winners and losers. And my brain doesn't hold on to it because nothing on wins and losses don't matter on the show. Well, yeah, JCU won.
Great. Good for them.
It is good for them.
Yeah, good for them.
Andre Chase is back. Get hyped.
Yeah, no, good. I just don't. I fail to see any path this story could take that would please me. And so it's just one of those things where I prefer to divorce myself from it rather than have it make me actively angry.
Come on, get in on Chase U. Duke Hudson's great. And he's going to be the focal point of all this in a minute.
I hope. Like, I thought they did this whole thing where, like, with Andre Chase gone, I can start running Duke U. And I was like, oh, okay. That'll be fun. Like all the like Duke University puns that they could do, and they just didn't do anything with it. They had him like lazily grading papers while Charlie Dempsey and Drew Gulak taught Thea Hale the Kimura. It was fun, but like, how does that help tell the story? I don't know. Like, Chase U is just it has been the least for me thing in all of wrestling since its inception. So
when its inception was stupid, but I think it got good.
No, it never got. I mean, to me, it never got good. It got more tolerable, but that doesn't mean it got
more
good.
Logical, which I guess is what I suppose.
I suppose. Andre Chase and Thea and Duke Hudson hyped up Thea Hale backstage, because she's getting a rematch. I'm assuming at the pay-per-view, and
she submitted Tiffany Stratton in the middle of the ring.
But
she should.
But yeah, she did, and she shouldn't have, and so we shouldn't be doing this. I understand that based on what they did in the first match, they kind of have to give her a rematch. They shouldn't have done what they did in the first match. I was so ready for Tiffany Stratton's reign. I think it's a bust so far. An absolute bust. So it could get better.
It was a good match, the last one, and it was set up in a way that made sense. It wasn't Roxanne and Meiko Satomura by any means.
No.
But
the thing is that I know that if you put Tiffany in the ring with the very best women on your roster, the very, very, very best, she'll have great matches and will improve overall in everything you want to improve her in, so that when she moves on to the main roster, she'll be. This is Tiffany treading water while we build Thea Hale to a spot where she's not going to become the champion, but will become more less of a sideshow act and more of an actual competitor, which is good for Thea Hale and bad for Tiffany Stratton's reign, because there's all these women she should be having feuds with that she's not, because they're doing other stuff. And
yeah, but I feel like Tiffany Stratton's gonna be champion for a long time, so I think that's why I have a little bit more patience with it, because I think she's gonna have like a long reign.
right.
But I also never thought Indy Hartwell was gonna emerge from that ladder match as champion. So who the heck knows?
True. Yeah. Yeah. But it looks like she's getting the shot at Great American Bash, so that'll be interesting. I guess.
I will say I wasn't like, oh, they gotta run this back. I was not liking that.
Well, when they did the visual pun and made it the whole story of the match,
yeah,
you have to, but they shouldn't have done it in the first place, in my opinion. So Cora Jade defeated Kelani Jordan in a very sloppy match via a barely accomplished Death Rider. And then Cora Jade went after the Kelani Jordan with the kendo stick, her custom kendo stick. And for a while, Dana Brooke was just doing referee stuff. No, you don't. You're not allowed to do any of these. I am gesturing with my hands for you to not do it. And then she got in the ring, and she was able to secure the kendo stick, and then did not swing it at Cora Jade, who was laying at her feet. This is an abomination and should be stopped immediately. This isn't helping anybody who's involved in it. It's just not. Like, I don't know what to do to make it better, but it's not good.
I have a lot of fun ripping apart really great creative. I say really great sarcastically. Mm-hmm. I don't like the part when the in-ring is great, because I don't like to talk about wrestlers in a negative light. But this has not been like good showings from Cora, and it hasn't been like Dana coming back has not been great so far. And when commentary rips you apart when you come back down and then now tries to hype you up as a mentor, it doesn't work. Like, they talked about how she didn't gain the credibility she needed on the main roster, like in a way that indicated she was coming back to NXT to work on herself, like to rebuild from the ground up or whatever. And then now they're trying to put her over like as a mentor with all of her experience. Like, you can't tell both stories, especially when you were mean the first one. Like, commentary was mean to her when she came back down. So none of that works. And Cora just has not looked good in her last few outings. This isn't clicking, unfortunately.
No, Kelani Jordan is very new at this, and she's going to get much better. The match I saw her have last time, she was better in than this one. But
she's going to be really good. She's just new.
When you're that early into things, your timing's not great. None of this shit should be being shown on television. I'm sorry. Like, this is stuff she should be doing behind closed doors, getting better at before she's on television. That was the thing that the 2.0 era began. Now this weird hybrid thing, which is more 2.0 than anything else, it continues, is that these are people who show up having no training at all in the medium, and they get a little bit of training, and they're like, we'll put you on television now. No, that's more of a hindrance than a help. So occasionally you'll have somebody who just like immediately gets it and is like, and uses the time on TV to improve even more. But a lot of times you put people on TV and they're like, whoa, slow down. I think Kelani Jordan has a really bright future, but I think you may be doing more harm than good if you're putting her on TV when she's not quite ready yet. All of these things she's doing in the ring are things that she is not able to hit cleanly at a great enough percentage to be in front of a TV audience. She will get there, and when she does, she's going to be really, really good. But anybody starting out at something is not going to be great at it. You know, they may have more of an aptitude than somebody else, but I never blame any of the very young, inexperienced talent that they throw out in front of everybody and say, here, do this, fail in front of a live audience. Like, I don't know, man. There's got to be other ways of doing it.
Did you see the Performance Center picture that they put up today? Speaking of that, by the way, the 10-year anniversary of the Performance Center and the great stars that the Performance Center made. People with no in-ring experience like Io Sky and Damian Priest.
I know. Jesus Christ. Yeah.
You get Bianca. Bianca's the only one you get, man.
You get that one. That one I'll give you.
Io Shirai being a Japanese legend before she walked through the doors.
Like, just it is absurd.
You get Bianca.
To me. You get Bianca. I will grant you Bianca, and that, considering where Bianca is now, is a testament to everything about the Performance Center. That is your one major success story. You're batting 1,000 with Bianca Belair and 0.0. You are way below the Mendoza line on everybody else. So correct. let's hold off on that one. Von Wagner.
Yep. And then what else do we got?
I don't know what to say about things got really out of hand last week. Javier Bernal was running his mouth, saying all the same stuff that kids used to say to me in school. They used to make fun of my scars. And then if I thought that they wanted me to be a monster, so that's what I was. And I maybe things got a little out of hand, but then when I felt it, the crowd was with me. Then I realized maybe this has all been for good. Also, thank you, Robert Stone, because it was you son of a bitch, who helped me to find this. And I love you, Robert Stone. And now is when I will walk away, because they told me after I said my lines that I should walk out of frame. So that is what I am doing. And then Robert Stone does this. That was it.
I don't know if they know if this is supposed to be serious or comedy, because they have tried to have one foot in both worlds so long that I think they thought they were building comedy, and then they were like, and we're going to snap into it with this sincere promo. And he does not, you need to be like skilled to pull that off. You need to be like Stokely Hathaway 2.0, like people that can pull off both sides of that really well are rare. Mm-hmm. Von Wagner's not even he's not even pretty good at this. So when you try and do that, just like, nah, man.
Yeah. A couple other people bringing up
people that had
Alexa.
wrestling experience.
Alexa's
a close shout, yeah.
I'll take Alexa. Chad Gable
Alexa.
Anybody who's an Olympic level wrestler, they've got enough experience. Liv Morgan came in with basically nothing, and she's gotten to a really good point in her career. So yes, I don't know how I would treat Charlotte as part of this thing.
I feel like if you were an FCW, it doesn't count. She was an FCW. That was because that's the same thing with Roman.
Yeah.
Like if you predated that's just like, if you're celebrating the 10-year anniversary of something and they came in the iteration before that thing existed, right. That's not that.
Yeah.
Alexa's a pretty close one. I guess I think Bianca has every box checked as far as every piece of this. And I think there's times where Alexa doesn't have the in-ring piece of it while she's tremendous on the character side. So I always just feel like Bianca's the one that is the most well-rounded success story of it all.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I also didn't mean to start like a name all of the performance center in the chat. I'm saying you don't get to take credit for Io Shirai. Like she walked in there with no experience.
For most of the people who came through NXT during that era, they were already ready-made people elsewhere. Like
it'd be like saying like, oh, Seth Rollins was brand new. But it was like, well, he was Tyler Black though, like before that.
Yeah. Yes.
So
yeah. So there was an NXT Underground recap that then showed Eddie Thorpe and Gable Stevenson walking out of the thing, and like Gable Stevenson like, so what's next for you? Yeah, I don't know. I mean, go back to school, another national championship, the Olympics next year. But I really love being here too. I don't know.
He had a contract thing that he had to fulfill, and now he's getting the hell out, right? Like that's what that was last week. Okay.
Seems like it. I genuinely hope I never see the guy on WWE programming again.
I hope I never see him on planet Earth again.
I feel like next summer we're gonna get inundated with a whole bunch of Gable Stevenson
versus Chad.
We're not in WWE, like for the Olympics next summer. It's gonna be defending his gold medal or whatever. But he doesn't have to come back and wrestle ever again. Just doesn't have to do that. It's fine.
Get out of here.
But you know what I love to do, Kate?
What do you love to do, Alex?
At work, I love to gather around somebody holding an iPad with the rest of my coworkers and just smile aimlessly at a screen that's not showing me anything. I love that. That's a lot of fun. Man, that NXT Underground match was so sick. Yeah, it was. General
Would
mumbling.
You like to watch it on my tablet and not on a TV?
And then Dominik Dijakovic, or whatever his name is, just Dijak.
Dijak, baby.
He comes up and he says, so everyone thinks that Eddie, just because Eddie Thorpe won one underground match, he's the toughest guy here. And one of the extras standing next to him goes, yeah, basically. Like he didn't say it loud enough for anybody to really hear it, but I could hear it. And then Dijak just walks away. So Dijak versus Eddie Thorpe is the next thing we're gonna get.
That should rule.
That should be really good. And I just Dijak, you don't have to listen to them. They're gathered around watching a tablet. You don't have to listen to them. They have bad opinions. They're not worthy of. You have to listen to them.
You're saying that if your judgment is such that you gather around an iPad to watch something, and it's not like, oh, look at how cute my nephew was taking his first steps the other day. It was like, look at this Raw Underground match or NXT Underground match.
I just fired up the Peacock app by NBC on my iPad. Let's watch the NXT Underground match from last week together. Gather round, everybody.
Cool.
Come on. Jesus Christ. Yeah, so that was the thing. Bron Breakker and Ilja Dragunov cut promos on each other. And I said to myself, why are we doing this? This match isn't going to take place tonight.
It did.
It did. I said to myself, they're not even going to start the match. They're going to start brawling before it, and they're going to call it. They're going to try again next week, and that won't go all the way through, and they're going to have to push this thing all the way off to whatever it's called, to Great American Bash, to the Gab. And because of that, they're going to have to find somebody else to be the number one contender for Carmelo Anthony or Hayes. And
Carmelo Anthony?
Yeah, I know. Listen, my brain's not working tonight. And that's how we're going to give
you a Yankee because you gave us a Nick.
Yeah.
I award you Homer Bush.
Good.
That's the Wayback Machine, my friend.
That's
speed off the bench.
Yeah, and very few homers, as I recall, for a man named Homer.
It wasn't. It's kind of like that pitcher named Balfour. Like, that's just tough. That's just
right.
tough.
It is tough. But it's not like you had a like nobody named Cecil Fielder Speedy. Like that wasn't a thing. Bases Steeler Fielder. Nobody named him that because they knew what position he played on the thing. You know,
Bases Steeler Fielder.
So
My God.
listen. I still don't understand. They just did this match. They just did the match. It was a great match, but this is Bron Breakker versus Dragunov is a pay-per-view thing, and you figure out something else to do with Carmelo Hayes. But maybe you don't, I guess. The only way I accept this really is if we see Bron Breakker in the next 2 weeks on Raw or SmackDown. Because you could have had him have this exact match in front of a major crowd and have Ilja beat him, and his send-off from NXT would have been at a traveling pay-per-view. Like, this is a dude who was the Rock of the 2.0 era before they started going back out on the road again. The last thing he does is leave that way. That to me feels poetic. Also, it would make sense for why the Judgment Day is hanging around all the time if you're going to have them be a part of the PLE in Texas. But if they're not going to be a part of the PLE in Texas, I guess we got to do Dragunov versus Carmelo Hayes there. But also, by the end of the night, you're going to see my frustration in that if you're doing Dragunov versus Carmelo Hayes, that should be the only story in NXT, even approaching the main event from literally last week until the day of the pay-per-view. There shouldn't be anything else going on there. This happening tonight without Carmelo Hayes being ringside for it like they would normally do, or coming out immediately to raise up the belt for them to look. This should have been the main event of a regular TV show if they were not going to do it at the pay-per-view. But the Judgment Day is the most important thing in all of WWE right now, and I fucking hate it. So,
I mean, from the business perspective, of course they're gonna do that, because it's their main roster guys closing the show. You're not gonna send Finn Balor to wrestle in NXT again and not have him close out the show. Right. This is weird. The match was fantastic. The great spot where Braun speared him out of his boots in the corner was insane. I loved the ending. Dragunov has some of the best his in-ring smarts about his own size against opponents like Braun are brilliant. He's a brilliant wrestler. And I love how creative he is in matches like this. It's kind of like his sweet spot in a lot of ways. Doing it here was weird, but I like a clean finish. I like Carmelo versus Dragunov at the play. Just feels like a weird one.
Yeah. I reserve the right to look at the landscape after Great American Bash and go, okay,
sure, all
right, I guess that makes sense. I also reserve the right to be even angrier about it than I am now. You know what I mean? Like it's,
and we both reserve the right to be very angry about the draft if they just end up calling up a bunch of people anyway.
Well, that is true. Yeah, but just the idea of, I don't know. It didn't. None of this feels like it's. It feels like they were doing stuff, and then somebody said, "Oh, by the way, you have to shoehorn Judgment Day into every show, and they need to be the most important thing on every show for the entire month of July." And they were like, "But we had all this other stuff planned," and then the person from on high says, "I don't care. Judgment Day. That's the edict. That's what we're doing." And then they're just like, "Okay, well, should we do Braun versus Dragunov on a Tuesday and screw our plans for the PLE?" Yeah, I guess so. None of it. It just felt like this did not happen in a world that was concentric with the world of Carmelo Hayes calling out the Judgment Day, who he knows he can't have a real title match with because he knows he's going to be facing the winner of Bron Breakker and Ilja Dragunov, which happens tonight, which he takes no interest in during the, like, I don't, it's just, I don't know. I don't like it. I don't like it. I don't like the novelty of the main roster guys coming to NXT for a match. Okay. If you're sending Mustafa Ali to NXT to work a program, Baron Corbin to do a whole gimmick reset, Dana Brooke to do whatever the hell Dana Brooke is doing, okay. But if it feels like the weird episodes where like the Harlem Globetrotters would guest star on Scooby-Doo. Like, they're not sticking around. What the hell are we doing with the Harlem Globetrotters here?
Well, my bigger thing is it made no sense. Like, when Seth came down for a one-off, it was champion versus champion. They like built a little program around it.
Right. Yes.
And now they used point A to get to point C, and it doesn't work. Like this.
Yep.
Like Finn Balor coming back to NXT should be a huge deal.
It should.
And this is just rushed, and the timing with the plan makes no sense. And to your point, it's like they already were building out a title program outside of this. So it's just like, I get it. They did it to pop a rating. It worked. Like Seth was their highest draw.
Sure.
In years and years. So of course they're going to keep doing that. But
also, I would argue that the Finn coming to NXT would feel a lot more important if we hadn't watched him just beat the NXT champion clean on Raw 3 weeks ago.
Yeah, like, it's all backwards.
That doesn't make a lot of sense. Anyway, this match was great. It's the only thing on the show worth watching. Period.
Yes.
Wes Lee is being interviewed about Mustafa Ali, and then Dominik walks up with Rhea and says, "Hey, aren't you the guy who does the open challenges?" And Wesley's like, "I mean, I used to. I don't really do them anymore." "Great, I accept." And Wesley's like, "I mean, I don't really do those anymore because it got out of hand. But if you want to get crazy, let's get crazy. I'll go settle the match right now." It's like, no. Let's do it next week. And I punched myself in the face because I have to watch Dominik next week too.
This guy can't do anything.
No.
He can't do anything.
No.
He couldn't deliver these lines. He pretends there's an open challenge going on to set up a match next week. It's not how open challenges work.
No, there wasn't an open challenge, so he invented one, answered it, and then said, "We'll do it on my time, not the champ's time." So there's a saying in baseball, a 5-tool player. He's a no-tool player. He's just a tool.
Jinx.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there you go. So here's a guy who's not particularly strong, not particularly agile, and what's the opposite of fast? Slow. Let's put him with Wesley, the fastest guy in the entire roster, and let's see what happens. And let's structure the match so he, even though he is terrible, must seem way more important than Wesley.
I got a better idea. Yeah. What if we ruin what was going to be a great match to make this terrible? Because this is what Dominik is doing SummerSlam weekend, right? Or Great American Bash weekend, rather. He's gonna come in and ruin the triple threat.
It feels like, I mean, somebody. Listen, I don't know. This is the monkey's paw. This is Dominik needs to go to NXT. I've been screaming it for 3 years now. Why isn't Dominik in NXT? He sucks.
We started screaming he needs to go to NXT, but that was because we didn't have Level Up, which is where he needs to actually go.
Right, that's true. But now he's here. And he's
That's gonna
coming
be
for the
that match is gonna be awful.
Match next week will be awful. And if they find a way to ruin Mustafa Ali versus Wesley, then that will be egregious to like figure out a way to like put Domin in there. However, and this is where I have to be objective about this. Also, if they don't find a way for the Judgment Day to be represented at Great American Bash,
what the hell are they doing here?
Then all of this will have been for fucking nothing. I don't want the Judgment Day involved in Great American Bash, but what you have done over the past several weeks and continuing into next week and perhaps beyond is to heavily imply that the Judgment Day are going to be fixtures in NXT, at least for the time being. And they're doing stuff like, I don't know, we'll talk about this, getting an NXT title match next week and pinning the current NXT champion in a tag match tonight in the main event. If you are doing all of this for, I don't know, shits and gigs, fuck you. That's all I got to say about that.
If you found a way to put Finn in a match with Wesley and Mustafa Ali,
Sure.
I'm okay with that.
Yeah. Yes,
I think I know why Tyler Bate is always searching for his piece. Because like it's impossible to find in this scenario.
You can't find it. Nope. Yeah. Tom LaValle says it's the Chewbacca defense. That does not make sense. It's just referencing the Judgment Day. Yes. Caden Lee says, had a bad day. Hope Dom wins to make me happy. Listen, I'm all for you having a better day, Caden, but I'm gonna go for the greater good here. I'm sorry to do this. If you have to personally suffer so that Dominik remains terrible and also loses every match he's in, then I'm willing to make that trade. I apologize, but it's one of those things like, you know, the trolley problem. Like there's a trolley that's barreling toward one person. It's going to run them over. Do you flick the switch and change the track so it runs over a bunch of people, or do you let that one person on the track just get run over by a trolley? Caden, I'm sorry. In this scenario, you are the one person on the track. I have to do what is right for the greater good. I'm sorry.
Caden, you're going to have a better day tomorrow. Dominik hasn't gotten really any better in like 3 years. So it's tomorrow you can go buy a slice of pizza.
Right.
And go for a walk and get some fresh air, and your day's going to turn right around.
Yeah.
Dominik Mysterio? Not getting any better.
Some whatever.
You go whatever.
I knew it was one of the two, and I just drew straws in my brain, and I picked the wrong one. I'm sorry.
You go whatever, like you're 17. Literally what I would sound like if my dad corrected me when I was a teenager. Whatever.
Yeah. Christopher Spires says, so scared loser Dom is going to win North American title next week. He's not. He will perhaps do something that gets him inserted into a triple threat match. I think Wesley would enter the match as the champion if they did the triple threat at Great American Bash.
So, God.
I think they would do that.
I'm more worried that Dom will keep Mustafa Ali from winning the title, and they'll make that a thing.
Yeah. Hey, remember how I was so complimentary of the Baron Corbin creative last week?
Yeah.
I may have Kate. I may have counted my chickens before they hatched, Kate.
What was frustrating about this was It's actually still, I feel like, headed in the right direction, but this vignette just tried way too hard. Like, I think he's still on the right track, but like this vignette was just way too much. Way too much.
How is the right track a man in a hood surrounded by tiki torches?
Okay, yeah, the kind of looks like the KK thing not great.
I mean, listen, he drove to a swamp and found a hooded figure surrounded by tiki torches. Like the promo was decent, and I was like, okay, where is this headed though? What you're driving, where are you going? And he got out of the car, and like it was in the jungle, and there were tiki torches and a big guy in a hood, in a white hood with his back to Baron Corbin, and I was like, Defa? Like, what is this? And then cut away. Like, is this one of those things where like you tell a whole story with these vignettes over the course of like 12 weeks? Who the hell is this person? Why?
Okay, here's where it's bad. Okay, definitely looked like a clan rally. Not great. Gotta start there. Not good. Yeah. Visual, not good. I think it was supposed to be a gray hoodie and not a white one, but the lighting was really bad. And like, you know, for a company that can't Google anything, maybe take a minute and look at the visuals of what you're presenting. That's bad. Also bad, I think he's on his way, Alex, to meet himself, who was burning all of those gimmicks to the ground.
But he already burned the gimmicks. He put them in an incinerator. Like, honestly, though, here's the deal. There is bad creative, and then there is bad creative that I enjoy. And Baron Corbin going to meet himself in the jungle is the kind of bad creative that I would enjoy. Baron Corbin,
and like we shouldn't have to sit here and say clan rally aside. Like that's not a thing we should have to say. Like you gotta be aware of that.
Baron Corbin going to meet his doppelganger, like his inner self, the other side of him, and having to have a fist fight with him in a jungle is horrible creative that I will absolutely pop for.
It's what it did with Ethan Page with Karate Man, but dead serious.
Yeah.
But he was like talking about the embers still burning and how now that he's burned all these gimmicks to the ground, he doesn't know who he is anymore. I'm like 90% sure he's going to meet himself in the jungle. I hope himself is not a racist.
I knew you'd come. Yeah, perhaps. I don't know. I don't know what this is.
I think Baron Corbin's going to meet himself.
Chi-Town Spurs says, is it just me, or is putting shaved head Baron Corbin with tiki torches not a great vibe based on recent events?
I mean, not even super recent, but just events that we shouldn't be like casually referencing on wrestling programs.
Baron, tonight you will meet 3 Corbin ghosts. Expect the first at midnight.
Can we do the Muppets
at
version?
1. No, that'd be fun.
Mr. Scrooge.
Who is the Bo Dallas version of Baron Corbin?
Oh my God, Uncle Howdy was Baron Corbin all along.
Does he have a younger brother who's not around? Oh man, it would be bad. It would be so bad, but I would pop for it. Oh man. Tiffany Stratton defeated Ivy Nile. Ivy Nile
Who
got
has
a little
sparkles on her face.
Yeah. Ivy Nile got her in the little reach around behind my back dragon sleeper. But Tiffany got out of it and then hit the moonsault and won the match.
It's the prettiest moonsault ever.
Yep.
Greatest moonsault ever? What did she call it? Can't remember. Hey, I don't think we talked about it on this show yet. You know who Tiffany Stratton's dating, Alex? It's a new impression of yours.
Yep.
She's dating.
Yep.
Ludwig Kaiser.
Ludwig Kaiser. Yeah. Yes. Yeah.
You're just gonna let that sit there?
I am.
You're no fun. It's my new favorite impression of yours.
Oh man, why is it that you always love the ones I hate doing so much?
It's because you had to contort your whole face for this one too.
Yeah, I know.
It's a lot of commitment on your part.
It is true. It is a lot of it is. But yeah, I don't see. I don't know how those two mesh. She seems a bit bubbly for him, and he's a bit of a downer. Maybe controlling. I demand that you empty the dishwasher. I ran it 2 days ago.
I don't do dishes. Toodles.
Yep. Anyway, so this
Such a good impression.
Yeah. So the Jambeard says, sorry, but all these women are just people holding the belt until we get murderous Ivy Nile on the level of what NXT Baszler was.
Just what we're not getting.
Yeah, let me tell you what we're not gonna get ever. But yeah, that's tough.
This was a good match and a good use of time because it extended both of their stories. Like Tiffany Stratton winning here makes sense because Ivy's supposed to be lost without the Creeds.
Yep.
Spoiler alert, they're still here.
Yeah. Yeah.
I called it, unfortunately.
So let's talk about that. First of all, Tiffany Stratton stands in the ring to invite chance of you tapped out, like on purpose. Like
no,
if
I didn't.
Yes, you did. Yes, they told you to stand in the ring so you could get chanted. You tapped out by the kids wearing.
Out. She goes, leave me alone.
Yes.
Which
I am standing here in the middle of the ring with a microphone and stop. Leave me alone.
That actually popped me huge.
You can leave. You can leave.
Leave me alone.
You can leave. So but anyway, Ivy Nile is backstage and she gets walked up on by the Schism, including a bunch of extras in yellow, as you call them, Party City masks. They are neutral masks, but they are yellow for some reason and not white. I don't know why. So
called the Party City masks because they were too small for their heads when they all debuted.
Yeah, they talk some shit to Ivy Nile and about the Creeds not being there anymore, and then they leave. And then as all of the extras leave, 2 of them stick around to like eye her closely as they walk away. And one of them was short and a little fatter than the other one. And the other one was obviously Julius Creed. So there's Julius and Brutus. Here's the deal. You can, it sucks and you shouldn't do this, but you can have the heel lose, a loser leaves town and then stick around because the loser doesn't acknowledge that they lost.
Loser, yeah. Especially when there's interference.
If you have the baby face lose, a loser leaves town, and then just say, no, I'm not gonna, that's a really shitty thing to do to your baby face because it makes them a liar.
Especially Alex.
This is so fucking dumb.
When that babyface team was due to leave town 6 months ago and go up to the main roster.
That's true. So
it's like they intentionally heard us say every week, the Creed should go up, the Creed should go up, the Creed should go up. And they were like, we're going to make them think that, but then we're going to rip their hopes and dreams away from them.
Right. I don't know. There's only 2 options. There's one that everyone seems to. Why did the Creeds join Schism? Like, I'm pretty sure they're not doing that. But they're hiding in plain sight but there's the other thing is that
you make the Schism look like idiots.
Yes, I just love the idea that like, hey, let's put on these obviously fake mask things and just walk around behind them, and they won't have counted the number of disciples that were walking around with them, and they won't notice 2 other very large people walking with them. Yeah.
What?
I don't know.
They go around every week, Alex. Every week with these guys, we hear them say 4 roots, 1 tree, and they're just like, "Oh, guess a couple of roots showed up."
Well, they have a bunch. Now, see, they listen. They tried in the script. I don't know. This is probably a Joe Gacy ad lib. As you can see, the ranks of the schism are increasing every day. So that's why they have a bunch of other guys in the things like. But also, Ivy Nile says, you wore a loaded mask and headbutted Julius, which is why they lost. And Joe Gacy being like, I was kicked out of the building. How could I ever even get back inside? That's crazy talk. And I believe him. I do think it was another person they've added to the schism, but I feel like we won't know who that is until Julius and Brutus reveal that they have infiltrated the cult a little too early. Like, hey, that's right. It was us the whole time. And then a big dude who was the guy who headbutted him will go, yeah, I'm also here. You didn't notice that, but I'm also here.
Do you think big dude he wasn't big enough to be the guy who was throwing couches, is he?
No. No. Also, he was white. So no, I don't think it was Obafemi. But I wouldn't put it past it being Tank.
Oh, I was really liking Hank and Tank.
Me too. I was really liking Hank and Tank too. The Tank had a lot of what do you call it? Personality. The Riz had a lot of charisma. And they were like, you know what we should do? Put you in a mask and take away everything that makes you you. I don't know, man. I don't know.
This makes me want to bang a head against my wall because what we're gonna get is an after-school special that says we were never leaving without Ivy Nile.
I know, so bad. Oh, by the way,
we're a cult, but we don't know who's in our cult. Is really bad. Oh man,
Blair Davenport. Yeah, Blair Davenport / B Priestley / Bear Davenport had an interview about beating up Roxanne Perez, and she calls her a little girl who wears a bow and is a loser and a losing loser who loses. And none of the things that she said were incorrect. And that is a bad thing to do to your baby face, is to book her and treat her and present her as a thing that when the heel tells the truth about her, we all go, yeah, that's accurate.
Yes, but assuming Roxanne actually gets the better of her, this I think could be really good. Sure, it was a really good promo.
It was a good promo.
She's real good. Blair Davenport's real good. Yeah. She's real good in this role. But you're right, and that like they made her feel like a little kid. And then that little kid got anxiety and was called a loser. So there you go.
Yep. Yeah.
But like I think Blair Davenport is going to do a good job of making us invest in the idea of Roxanne beating her up. Like I think that's going to be good.
Yeah. So if Stacks wins, then Tony D'Angelo gives all the charges are dropped and he goes free. But if Stacks loses, then he will go to prison for the rest of his life, which is not necessarily, I think, how the judicial system works in this country. I mean, it is for certain people, but not for people like Tony D'Angelo.
Well, NXT in the law are a flexible relationship.
So half of the match happens, and then Joe Coffey is like, all right, time to lay down so I can pin you, because that was the thing that we agreed on. I don't know why. This is me as Joe Coffey. I don't know why we wrestled for 5 minutes before I said, okay, now lay down so I can pin you. I don't know why we were trying to make it look good. The whole point is, if I pin you, you get to become the boss, and Tony goes away for life. That's the whole point. So let me pin you. Again, we beat each other up for 5 minutes before I said this to you. Doesn't make any sense. And then then Stacks kicks out and says, I ain't no snitch. And we go to commercial.
That's correct.
And then we get back from commercial, and then Tony D has placed a collect call.
Yeah, he did.
To Vic Joseph. You have a collect call from I don't know, Orange County Correctional Facility. We do accept a call from, hey Vic, pick up, it's me, Tony D. And he's like, yeah, that's right. We fooled all yous. We set the whole thing up. And I'm like, I gotta go back and watch all these segments so I can figure out at what point they were setting it up, or like, did Tony D set up going to prison, or did he set up like this getting him out of prison thing? And at what point was Stacks a part of it? At what point was Joe Coffey like led into the ruse? Why did Stacks and Tony D have a largely antagonistic like meeting at the prison? Was that for our benefit because Joe Coffey wasn't around? So I don't know what. I mean, Stacks wins, so they get a title shot against the Gallus boys on top. But ultimately, what?
Yeah, and I feel like Stacks is going to turn on Tony in the tag match.
I do too. I feel like this is he got him out just so he could turn on him without him going away to prison. All he had to do was lay down for Joe Coffey, and he would accomplish the same thing that he's going to wind up trying to do in the damn tag match.
You know, Alex, you know what's funny about Tony D? And how you love him so much?
Yeah.
We've talked about it before, but him and Hook were both like the meme wrestlers, and they're actually really good at this.
Yeah.
And Alex, I think that we know.
Yeah.
That Hook is the cold-hearted, handsome devil in wrestling.
It's true. Yep.
But do you know who the cold-hearted, handsome devil of voiceover work is?
Oh.
Because I do.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
I do.
You?
Yeah. It's not Linda.
No.
It's not Ricky Rainbow. I'm telling you, send Hooks. All right? That's right. It's Matthew Hooks of our own SGS. He's a professionally trained voice actor and radio host. You can hear his voice behind some of the most reputable national and international brands in the world, including Microsoft Surface, TD Ameritrade, and Whataburger, and more. Wow. He's lent his talents to audiobooks, anime, narration, commercial projects, audio editing, radio and television ads, and more. You can find out more at Hooked In with Matthew Hooks on Facebook, or Hooked In Voice on Twitter, or head to hookedinvoiceovers.com to hear his demos and get his booking details and contact information. Mm-hmm. Or if you're ready to start today, just email hookedinvoiceovers@gmail.com for project ideas and rates today. He is sponsoring our show this week of this month, and we appreciate it. Always very cool to have one of our own SGSers pop up. And, you know, I know we don't really celebrate voiceover work here.
No, we only do our own voices. We do not do other voices.
No, we are staunchly anti-impressions.
We are voice unders. That's what we are.
We are voice unders.
That's
if you're like, hey, what's the line on the voice? Yeah. We're taking the under every time.
You take the under every time.
But Matthew Hooks is always so supportive of us, and it was so cool that he chose to sponsor us as well. I listen to his demos. They're great. If you need someone for voiceover work for any of your stuff, really, really, really cool. Go check him out. He's a wonderful person and a talented guy. So send Hooks. Hooked In Voiceovers. Rock and roll.
Yeah. So Bronco, Nima, and Lucien Prince were supposed to make an NXT in-ring debut, but instead they made an NXT ringside debut. So they were just randomly confronting Gallus at ringside during the match. Yeah.
Cool sight, man. Popped.
Yeah.
Yeah, they did not make an in-ring debut. They don't know what in-ring debut means on NXT.
No. No, they
That's
just
not
lie
what
to
that is.
people about
They
stuff.
made him bring a side debut, Alex.
Yes. So there they are, picking a fight with Gallus. So there you go.
All right.
Don't know what to say about that.
There's this whole other program going on. What are we doing?
I don't know. Feels like that kind of muddies the waters, which feels like basically what NXT is right now. Just very muddy waters.
Yeah,
Not
we're
the
not
blues
in the
singers.
Caribbean anymore.
Not the blues singers.
No.
No, definitely not. No.
Sad.
So Los Lotharios, who were also weeks ago watching Gallus do stuff, but now have no interest in that. They're more interested now in hitting on
Are we gonna get a 4-pack
Ulysses
out of
Leon
this?
and Valentina Feroz. And they're like, you don't even know our names before you hit on us. That's very disrespectful to us. And then up walks. Listen, I get it, because if you were the champ, you would walk up with the belt on your shoulder. But Nathan Frazier walking up with this giant trophy, be like, "Hello, it's me, Nathan Frazier. If you met my cup," like he's just.
Do you think that's Bob?
I named it Bob. I named it after my uncle. And he walks up with Dragon Lee and like, "Is there a problem here? Are you bothering these ladies?" So we're gonna get Los Lotharios versus Dragon Lee and Nathan Frazier, which, like, sign me up for 12 minutes of that in a sprint. But also, what? Like, okay, I suppose, but this just doesn't. All right.
I love him walking around with that giant cup.
Yeah.
It would be like if you made the MVP of the Stanley Cup walk around with the Stanley Cup all the time. It's ridiculous.
It's only slightly less ridiculous than me walking around with a small table, and I'm just like standing like, "Hey, how's it going? I got a small table. I'm just gonna talk. I'm gonna have a conversation with you and never mention that I'm just carrying a small table on my shoulder."
Is that from the restaurant?
No, it's just a small table.
Okay.
It's like a little end table.
I didn't know if the restaurant had...
I keep some stuff on it usually, but this is not about my table. I don't want to talk about the table. I want to talk about how you were hitting on a girl I kind of like. Hey,
okay, but like I couldn't help but notice you had that small table though.
You know what I am? You know what I am now? The head of the table.
Hey, you're Logan Paul. You are the table.
I am the table.
I'm excited for the match. It was a weird setup to use hitting on a gal as a means to an end, but that's kind of the Los Lotharios characters, these like suave, womanizing type dudes.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I'm excited for the match. I think he should have to carry the cup around everywhere. I'm for that.
Mm-hmm. Yep. All right. The match is going to be great. I'm not. Yeah. Sure. Yeah. Leon talked trash to Garza in Spanish, which is funny.
That rules. Do we have a translation for such a thing?
I mean,
sometimes
I don't know.
Luis does that.
Sometimes he does, but no.
Okay.
So yeah. Luis thinks it's going to be Eric Young who's under the hood in the jungle that Corbin goes to talk to. I don't know why, but all right.
I think his Impact contract is up. Is that why?
I'm not sure.
Well,
no, but I don't know why it would be him as opposed to anybody else. Is what I mean. Like, I know he's out.
I'm like almost positive Baron Corbin is going to be Baron Corbin. Like I'm pretty confident about that.
I will tell you this. I want you to be right. I'm only 30% of the way there.
I kind of need me to be right now.
I'm only 30% of the way there. But I hope you're right. I do.
I would rather him meet his true self than some shaman BS that we would get out of this instead. He would need some guru to find himself, and I don't need that. Yeah.
It says Luis says, I've seen too many of Eric Young's Violent by Design vignettes. I am certain it's him. So there we go. I don't have somebody I'm certain of, so I'll just allow it to be whatever it is.
He's got to be meeting himself.
Oh, well, I love that too, Alpha Bill. He needs to be evil Corbin with a goatee so we can tell them apart.
Ooh, yep.
Like evil Kirk and regular Kirk.
Daughter of a Trekkie, no thanks.
Judgment Day.
Yeah.
Judgment Day 1. The rest of the match doesn't matter. There was some good stuff, and it doesn't matter. And what matters is that at the end, Rhea Ripley has a plan. She says to Dominik, "Go get a chair and insist on sliding into the ring in that corner over there. And when the ref stops you, just keep trying until you get his full attention. I will then go over here and I will throw the Money in the Bank briefcase to Damian, who will then hit Carmelo with it, and they will win the match." But Ilja Dragunov runs down to grab the case out of Damian Priest's hands when Damian Priest holds it over the apron for some reason. And then Carmelo gets up and runs over to punch Priest, but ends up Priest ducks and Carmelo Hayes punches Ilja Dragunov. Oh, now they're not going to be friends heading into their title match because they were such good friends before. Now there's bad blood brewing.
Well, they did coexist yesterday. We could say that at least. Like, of course, we're doing a coexist angle, but they did coexist to win the match yesterday.
I'm talking about this ridiculous Carmelo Hayes and Dragunov thing they're setting up. Oh, Carmelo Hayes accidentally hit Dragunov, and then you'll have Booker T go, "I don't know, Vic, was that really an accident?" And then that's going to be a thing now for the next 2 weeks. And then we just straight up fucking had Damian Priest and Finn Balor hit their 2 finishers to Carmelo Hayes and pin the NXT champion clean. Because they didn't even use the fucking belt, the briefcase on him. They just straight up beat him. Didn't need it at all.
Second time Finn has pinned Carmelo clean, right?
And then listen, this is the problem with establishing that you can cash in the Money in the Bank briefcase.
Correct.
On any title. On any title you choose. Because Damian Priest stood there over an unconscious Carmelo Hayes with an unconscious Trick Williams on the other side of the ring and did nothing. Immediately signifying to everyone watching that the NXT title is not one worth having. Because it's not a sure thing that he could cash in on Seth Rollins or Roman Reigns, but standing over the lifeless body of Carmelo Hayes, it's a damn sure thing he'd cash in successfully on Carmelo Hayes with all of his buddies standing around as well. But he didn't lift a finger to try, which means Damian Priest thinks the NXT title ain't worth spit. And that is the problem with making any title available to the Money in the Bank holder, because a guy who doesn't attempt to cash in on another title, then the title doesn't mean anything.
I just am I here? Am I here?
Yeah, you're here.
You're here.
I hear you. I see you.
It just feels like why do people talk about us while we're on the show? It's just
it's weird. I'm not negative to be negative. I'm negative to be constructive. This is crap. Do something better.
It's called sour grapes.
Well, like even if it wasn't, like I saw something I don't like. What am I going to say? You know what? This was great. I didn't like it, but I'm going to tell you it's great.
Yeah, I just don't
Like,
tell other
if that's
people how to
if
review a show. It's weird.
if that's what you're looking for, go elsewhere.
I mean, I am
Goodbye.
awesome. That part was very true. Like that first
Yeah.
part about me being awesome.
Yeah.
Dead on. You lost me in the second half.
Fine.
Are you saying I'm not awesome?
No, you're obviously yes.
Thank you. Okay, that's all I'm
Yes.
saying is that he
Like-
had me in the first half.
But it just
Fell way
Right.
off.
yeah, no.
I am awesome and confused about. I don't get the point of any of this. Like it. Why did you go so far out of your way to have your champion look weak twice to Finn Balor if you're not setting up a title shot?
This was a tag match.
It was a tag match. The whole reason it was a tag match
pin
was so that
Trick
the other
Williams,
guy could get pinned.
dude. Just pin Trick Williams.
Oh my god, right there, man. Like it's just Trick's mostly a pin eating guy. Like he is. He's there to run interference and take pins and tag matches with Carmelo. It just makes no sense that you would go out of your way to have Carmelo get pinned by Finn twice. I don't get it. They had him pinned clean on the main roster 3 weeks ago, and they have him pinned basically clean here. Like clean by their standards.
Technically, I guess they could do a Carmelo versus Ilja versus Finn match. I mean, Finn has as much claim to a title match versus Carmelo Hayes as anybody. Pinned him twice. You know, like.
Yeah, but then that leaves Bron kind of like, I don't know. It just feels like Bron and Carmelo resolved their issue, but there was a contendership match, right? And Ilja won it. Yep. And the match would be great, but this build would not be. Like, it just feels...
Right. Yeah. Yeah. Yep.
Like, then you should have done Finn versus Ilja and then had some sort of no contest there. And then they're both in the triple threat. Like, very simple.
Yeah. Yep. Also, Shut Kid makes a good point. Of all WWE's dumb choices, I personally find NXT's constant overruns the most offensive. And of course, a week I don't watch, there's no big overrun. That was true. I didn't notice while watching it, but I always watch it downstairs in the big TV in the living room, and then I walk upstairs to do the podcast, and I looked at the clock when I got upstairs, and I was like, wait a minute, what happened to the rest of the show? Was there a bunch of show that I didn't watch because I thought the show was over? No, the show just ended on a regular time. So, yeah.
No, the pre-taped one had an overrun. The one that you could edit in advance. This one did not.
No.
It's very weird.
That's true. Yeah. Do we need a Bluechew segue, or is that not happening tonight?
No, it's all hooks all the time tonight.
Oh, wow. Great. Yeah. Good for Matthew Hooks. Jambeard, though, had a couple ideas. Jambeard and CO had ideas. If you need help getting it up and out of the park, Bluechew is for you. Code Fightful. When your at-bats need that good wood, Bluechew. Code Fightful. There you go. See? Those are good. All right, here we go.
Let me just make it abundantly clear, though. Like, it's only because we didn't have the ad. It's not a lack of segues. Your girls got segues, but those were good ones. Those were great baseball segues.
Yeah, these are good. All right, we got a lot of good baseball ones. Here we go.
I gotta get my.
Meet Norma says, "I'm a sad Nationals fan, but still root for the Baltimore O's." I think that's supposed to be a Cody Rhodes thing. Also, Hangman Satchel Paige, Gold Dust's Field of Shattered Dreams.
Very nice.
Love Fro says, I can't.
Mariano Duncan.
Oh. Okay. Love says, I can't make baseball puns. I'm European. We don't play that game. So you do a pun for me, Kate.
That's too much pressure.
I'm sorry. You got to do it. The guy.
Finn Batter. There you go.
Ooh, that's good.
Not bad off the top of the old noggin.
Yeah, that's bad. That's not bad at all. Jambeard says, Los Angeles Allen Angels of Anaheim.
That makes more sense than calling them the Angels of Anaheim, which is what
Yes,
that's
true.
translated
Yeah.
to. But I give you Pat Kelly.
We're gonna be here all night. If we're doing this.
No,
Okay.
I got you.
Because Jambeard's got 6 of these in one super chat, so I feel like you can just
it's per user. It's not per.
Okay,
it's not
good.
Per fun.
San Francisco Giant Omos, Colorado The Rocks, Detroit Tiger Ali Singh, Minnesota Bella Twins Magic. Alpha Bill says Damian Padres.
I give you successively Brian Bowringer.
Okay.
And Andy Fox.
Okay. Jambeard says LA Knight Dodgers.
Mike Stanley.
Okay. Tom the Valley says Johan Santana and David Ortiz, Proud and Powerful.
They're getting less obscure, but you're getting Jorge Posada. A great switch hitting catcher. He's a terrible base runner, but
Jambeard says Chase U equals Chase Utley.
All I can think about is It's Always Sunny.
And
I give you Wade Boggs, ran the horse then to the 96 World Series.
JW Pringle says the primetime double players.
Darryl Strawberry.
Lord Kev says Marco Bunt, Kenny Dykstra Omega, and triple play H.
Jim Abbott, the one-handed no-hitter pitcher who pitched a no-hitter on my birthday.
Chi-Town Spurs says Craig Gigio.
Oh,
I like that one a lot. That's one of my favorites. I like that one a lot.
That's really, really good. And you get Tino Martinez, underrated. Should have won a Gold Glove.
Arja288 says Jimmy freaking Rollins.
Tony Fernandez.
Electric Mayhem says the 1, 2, 3 strikes you're out, kid. Basketball.
I'll give you. It's sad, but I'll give you Hideki Arabu.
George Fitzpatrick says Bobby the Hammer Valentine.
Oh, I loved Bobby Valentine.
What? You mean I was kicked out of the game? All right, I'm going to go into the clubhouse, and now you don't know who I am. I'm a different guy.
So, if you don't know, Bobby Valentine, former Mets manager, he got ejected from a game, but he had one of those eyes and mustache disguises, and he put it on and just stayed in the dugout.
And it wasn't an eyes and mustache disguise. He put on sunglasses and a legitimate fake mustache that he would have only had in the clubhouse if he thought he was going to get away with this the next time he got kicked out of. This is the equivalent of me getting kicked out of as a manager and coming back and going like, "Hello, it's not me. It's a different person entirely."
Well,
I'm gonna sit in the dugout. What are you talking about? No, that was a different person you ejected. What are you talking about? No, that's what that is.
That was an entirely different person. I don't know what you mean.
CO says, if I recall, Bobby Fish got cut from the 27 Yankees.
I already said Cesar Fielder, O'Brien Ben.
Bobby Fish got cut from the 27 Yankees because he was too old. 19. He was too old. He had to retire. Jake Salazar says Bundito.
That's excellent. Bundito. I give you David Wells.
Jambeard says Jay White Sox. Switchblade Jay White Sox. Jambeard says if you build it, Veer will come.
You get David Weathers. And somebody said Charlie Hayes in the chat, which I thought I already said, but I said Cecil Fielder. I'm running out of obscure ones, guys, okay? We're just getting deep into the 90s roster.
Just look up the AAA roster of the 1998 New York Yankees. Jambeard says Toronto Blue Jay Whites versus the Boston Red Velvet Sox.
Where is Red Velvet?
Jambeard says Chi-Town Spurs
Billy
says
Banks.
Ichiro Minoru Suzuki.
That's a badass person right there.
Yeah. JW Pringles, he's a slap hitter.
Jeff Nelson. There you go.
Get it? Ichiro Minoru Suzuki is a slap hitter. It's the funniest thing I've ever said.
That was done to pop me specifically.
Just you. Gary Pringle says Nolan Ryan Beefy Boy slapping beef. He sells meat. That's true. Nolan Ryan does.
A very brief Raul Mondesi run. How about that?
Shot Kid 29 says Fenway Park and time split finger fastball.
Ooh. Louis Soho. Did I say Louis Soho? Can't remember.
Jim Beard says fan. Ray, you're a bad fouler.
Oh, Finn Batter said that. See? Synergy. I like that one.
Lieutenant Photo says baseball diamond Dallas Page.
That's very good.
Electric Mayhem
El Duque.
says,
remember that
guy? Rich Gossage, the gobbledygooser.
That's a good one. Brian Bowringer for you.
Meet Normus says Carmelo Willie Mays Hayes.
Oh, Chili Davis. Remember that? Brief period he was a Yankee.
Lieutenant Photo says, buy me some peanuts and Cracker Jack Perry's.
Very nice. Kevin Brown broke his hand. Weird.
Electric Mayhem says, stealing signs guy Dudley.
Oh, that's I can't give you a Yankee for that one. I'm gonna give you Jose Altuve. How about that?
Yeah. Electric Mayhem says the fabulous Mookie Betts.
Oh, he is fabulous. I can't even hate him.
This is good. Twist of Fate with Hacksaw Jim Dugout. That's great.
Oh, that's really good.
That's great. That wasn't sent in, but I had to read it out of the chat. I saw it at the corner of my eye. That was awesome.
That's excellent.
Mr. Showtime says Seth freaking Rawlings baseball glove.
That's really good too.
Jambeard says here's a baseball joke that Kate won't get, but Alex will. Shave those sideburns. It's a Simpsons joke. Save those sideburns. Yep.
I don't know the Simpsons.
Arja says the big dog days of summer.
That's good.
Chi-Town Spurs says Jeter Avalon.
That's what we call 4K content.
Mr. Showtime says H1, H2, H3. You're out, brother. This is three H's. You're out. Triple H. Orion Ben 666 says Chase Fly Ball you. Kenny the cleanup hitter Omega. Arja also says San Diego, you're a bad
Kenny,
Padre.
God,
You're a bad Padre. Meet Norma says super fly ball Jimmy Snuka. And it's really Brian has like a whole list of them. Paul White Sox, Tall Paul White Sox, Sky Blue Jays, Detroit Tiger Driver 98, Native Beast Pete Rose, Eddie Swingston, Hacksaw Jim Sluggin, Brian Batting Cage, Becky Pinch Hit, Madison Rain Delay, Bat Hardy, Big ERA, Big ERA, there we go, Big ERA, seventh inning Regal Stretch, Techno Team 2000 career hits.
It's always Techno Team 2000 for me. Thank you. I give you, I knew I was leaving a left fielder out. Ricky LeDay.
Well, that's good. It's good.
Deep cut.
That's good. Matthew Plus says, not watching. Just wanted to say I haven't tuned in for Sour Graps for over a month, and my sex life has improved appreciably. Y'all should try it. Stop watching and go lose your virginities. There's more to life than the SGS. Go have human interactions. I mean, you can
that
do
guy's
both.
probably at work.
Yeah.
Nerd.
Coy Stallings says wrestling is back tomorrow. Nick versus Swerve gonna hump. It's true. And Jambeard says just a heads up, Jukebox is about to get wet tonight with a lot of requests by the bank by the band Wet Leg. So, G-Bro is just requesting the classic Sands of Time. So we got that. There we go.
Just a classic? Just a throwback. I like it.
Ethan Smith says Linda to just say this sentence. There we go. And there's a deep drive into deep left field by Castellanos. There will be a home run. And so that'll make it a 4-0 ball game.
Just that sentence, not the rest of the apology. I consider myself a man of faith.
Yeah, no. Jake Neal says,
Jim Layritz for you.
Who the fuck is Ken Griffey Garrison Jr.?
That's really good.
Okay.
That's really good.
All right. Okay, let's see which we do here now. Oh, that's long. Oh, Jesus. Okay, here we go. A lot of these things by Wet Leg. Jambeard says Ludwig to sing Shay's Lounge by Wet Leg. I don't know Wet Leg.
Jambeard, you are out of control.
Yeah, well, let me just paying money. Here you go.
I know, thank you.
Mommy, Daddy, look at me. I went to school and I got a degree. All my friends got the big D. I went to school and I got the big D. 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 I went to school and I got the big D. So that's that. Jambeard wants Linda to sing Wet Dream by Wet Leg. There we go. I really wish they wouldn't have so many ads on this stink site.
I know.
All right, here we go. Beat me up. Count me in. 3, 2, 1. Here we go. Let's begin. Here we go. I was in your wet dream, driving in my car. Saw you at the side of the road. There's no one else around. You're touching yourself. Oh my goodness. What is it? This is just filth. Touching yourself. You said, baby, do you want to come home with me? I got Buffalo 66 on DVD. It's very repetitive. Jambeard, the song is very repetitive. I can forgive the smut, but the repetitive nature of the song, it's not very good for reciting. It's basically the same thing again. What makes you think you're good enough to think about me when you're touching yourself? Again, it's just so repetitive. You climb under the bonnet and you're licking the windscreen. I've never seen anything so obscene. It's enough to make a girl blush. It's enough to make a girl blush. Okay, that's enough of this. Tiffany to sing Angelica by Wet Leg.
I'm finding it. I'm opening it.
All right. Okay.
Angelica was on her way to a party. She doesn't need to wait for anybody. Knows exactly what she's doing. I watch as she commands the room. The ambience is overrated at the party. I want to run away before it's even started. I look at my feet, then the door. Can't find my friends, so I just take a bit more. A bit more, 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 a bit more. And then it all comes to an end. We all go again. Good times all the time. Angelica, she brought lasagna to the party. I tried my luck at dancing with everybody. Sometimes life gets hard to deal. I like you. You've got sex appeal. Toodles.
Very good. Let's end the Wet Leg segment here with Darby singing Your Mom by Wet Leg. Oh, I don't need those, do I? Hold on. When I think about what you've become, I feel sorry for your mom. You say we're all having fun. Do you know you're the only one? And when the lights go down on this fucking town, I know it's time to go. And when the radio plays and the static stays, yeah, I know it's time to go. I get up to go now. I give up. Up on you now. I don't want you to want me. I need you to forget me. Yeah, I loved you. That was crazy. Malachi Black, because you just don't motivate me. There you go.
If Malachi Black doesn't motivate you, I don't know.
No, it's not true. Oh my goodness, these are lots. There's lots of these now.
Last call.
Last call for alcohol, because I need some to get through all these. Okay, so CO wants my Matt Riddle impersonation, singing "Because I Got High" by Afro Man. All right, here we go. This is hard to do because I have to do my impression of Matt Riddle with his eyes closed. It doesn't work otherwise, so it's hard for me to read. But I'm gonna see if I can remember enough of this song. Here we go. All right. I was gonna clean my room until I got high. Ooh. I was gonna get up and find the broom, but then I got high, bro. My room is still messed up, and I know why. Why, man? Because I got high. Because I got high. Because I got high, bro.
Forgot your shoes again.
I was gonna go to class before I got high. I could have cheated. I could have passed, but then I got high. Now I'm taking it next semester, and I know why. Because I got high. Because I got high. Because I got high, bro. Thank you, Randy. Okay.
Thanks, Randy.
Okay. Wait, now. Oh, hold on. Feeling Dreepy wants Linda to sing the Jim Johnson Biker Taker theme. Okay, hold on. This is gonna start. We're gonna have Ludwig Kaiser do the intro. Okay. Dead man walking. You done it now. You're gonna make a big mistake, and I can't allow you to just think you can walk away. So turn around and face the piper. You're gonna pay, because the end is now. This is gonna be your judgment day, not the one that ruins all the shows. A different judgment day. This is from a long time ago. This song. It doesn't reference the Damian Priest joint. A cheap shot. That's the way you're gonna play the game. I was blindsided, but things will never ever be the same. Let's see. Nice guys, it said, they always finish last, but badass is always kicking asshole ass. You're gonna pay. There's no forgiveness this time. You're gonna pay. It's my business. Your mind. You're gonna pay. I'm burning these walls to the ground like Jericho. You're gonna pay. I'm gonna pay. That's basically the whole song there.
Crushed it.
Okay. Okay. Let's see. Here's one for you. Sheila reading Casey at the Bat. Because baseball.
Because baseball.
Mm-hmm.
Let me find it and pull it up. There it is. The outlook wasn't brilliant for the Mudville 9 that day. The score stood 4-2, but with 1 inning left to play. And then when Cooney died at first and Barrows did the same, the pall-like silence fell upon the patrons of the game. A straggling few got up too deep in despair. The rest clung to hope, which springs eternal in the human breast. They thought, if only Casey could but get a whack at that, we'd put up money now with Casey at the bat. But Flynn proceeded, as did Jimmy Blake, and the former was a hoodoo, while the latter was a cake. So upon the stricken multitude grim melancholy sat, for it seemed but little chance of getting Casey to the bat. But Flynn let drive to a single, and the wonderment of it all, and Blake, the much despised, tore the cover off the ball. And when the dust had lifted and the men saw what had occurred. There was Jimmy safe at second, and Flynn a hug in third. Then, from 5,000 throats, and more rose a lusty yell. It rumbled through the valley. It rattled the dell. It pounded on the mountain and recoiled up on the flat. For Casey, the mighty Casey, was advancing to the bat. There was ease in Casey's manner as he stepped into the plate. There was pride in Casey's bearing, and a smile lit Casey's face. And when, responding to the cheers, he lightly doffed his hat, no stranger in the crowd could doubt 'twas Casey at the bat. This is very long.
It's very long.
It's very
maybe
long.
you'll be done with. Maybe you'll be done with it by the time the World Series is over.
We're gonna cut to the finish.
We're gonna cut to the
Mighty
finish.
Casey strikes out.
It's
Mighty Casey strikes out. It's not great.
Spoiler alert. Spoiler alert.
It's what
He's
happens
not the
when you
hero
put
everyone
too much
thinks he's
pressure
gonna
on him.
be. That's true.
No. And everybody who was getting doubted, they made it to the bat.
Yeah.
They got Casey up.
Yeah. So hold on.
He's a
this
big
is not
loser.
for
He's
me.
basically Cody Rhodes.
It's for someone else. Jim Beard wants Paul Pawlowski to do Who's on First. Also a very long bit, but I'm going to see how much of it that Paw can do by himself. Hey, I understand they made you the manager of this whole great baseball team. Why not? Well, so you're the manager? Yeah, I'm the manager. Well, you know, I'd like to know some of the guys' names on the team, so when I meet them on the street or in the ballpark, I can say, hey, hello to those people. Well, sir, I'll introduce you to the boys. They give them funny names, though. They give those players awful funny names. Let's see. On the team, we got who's on first, what's on second, and I don't know what's on third. Are you the manager? Yeah. Well, you know the guy's name? I should hope so. Well, then to tell me the guys' names. I say, who's on first and what's on second, and I don't know who's on third. And then you're the manager? Yes. You know the guys' names? Yes. I'm telling you their names. Well, who's on first? Yes. Go on and tell me. Who? No. That's the guy on first. Who? The guy in first. The guy on first. The guy on first. Who? The guy on first. What are you asking me for? I'm asking you. It goes on like that for quite some time. The man on third base is called I don't know, which leads to a lot of funny jokes.
Who's on second?
What's on second? What's on second? Who's on first? And I don't know is on third base.
What?
Second base. Oh, Jake. No, you got to watch the whole thing. It's like 8 minutes long. Like just Costello blowing a gasket.
Oh, it's so good. You got to watch it though. It's a classic for a reason. I love that one.
Yeah. Okay. Regal does the Talking Baseball song from The Simpsons. This is a classic. It's a classic, Kate.
Well,
Mr. Burns had done it. The power plant had won it, with Roger Clemens clucking all the while. Mike Socha's tragic illness made us smile, while Wade Bogg lay unconscious on the barroom tile. We're talking softball. From Maine to San Diego, talking softball, Mattingly and Canseco. Ken Griffey's grotesquely swollen jaw, Steve Sachs and his run-in with the law. We're talking Homer, Ozzy, and the Straw. Man in the Mask.
I don't like that at all.
It's funnier when with context. Okay, so here we go. Electric Mayhem has an apology for another thing that he sent in for you to say, but now he says, okay, just Tiffany Stratton doing Denial by Seven Dust.
Okay. Why would we have Seven Dust? They're my friends. I should know them. Most of them Oregon. Okay. What? Never say what you mean. All I hear is a scream. Never say that to me. Never say that to me. Wait, wipe that shit off your face. Let's don't stop till we bleed. The more you spit out your mouth, the less I believe. Denial seems it had to come. Relied on me to say it all. Denial has left you all alone. Can all that shit you said ever make sense? Where did you run to, bitch? While I was holding my breath, what sacred faded into nothing. Never put that on me. Never put that on me. Denial seems it had to come. Relied on me to say it all. Denial has left you all alone. Denial seems to have said it all. Relied on me to say it all. Denial has left you all alone. Toodles.
Very good.
They recorded the acoustic version of that at the studio I used to work at. I love those guys.
Cool. Jambeard, you don't get a toodles for very long because Jambeard once says, because Kate mentioned Starbucks, Tiffany to do the scene from role models, while Paul tells the barista is wrong in all his multiple ways. So that one, and then a couple. We only got 3 more after that.
Can I get a large black coffee? A what? A large black coffee. Do you mean a venti? No, I mean a large. Venti is large. No, venti is 20. Large is large. In fact, tall is large and grande is Spanish for large. Venti is the only one of the 3 that doesn't mean large. And it's also the only one that's Italian. Congratulations! You're stupid in 3 languages. A venti is a large coffee. Really? Says who? Fellini? Do you accept Lyra or is it all euros now? His line reading, not so much Tiffany's. But congratulations, you're stupid in 3 languages. Iconic.
Yeah, it's great. I love it. Chi-Down Spurs wants Linda to do the James Earl Jones baseball monologue, Field of Dreams.
I also would like that very much. Thank you.
Ray, people will come, Ray. They'll come to Iowa for reasons they can't even fathom. They'll turn into your driveway, not knowing for sure why they're doing it. They'll arrive at your door as innocent as children longing for the past. Of course, we won't mind if you look around. You'll say it's only $20 per person. And they'll pass over the money without even thinking about it, for it is money they have and peace they lack. And they'll walk off to the bleachers and sit in their short sleeves on a perfect afternoon and find they have reserved seats somewhere along the baselines where they sat when they were children and cheer their heroes. And they'll watch the game. And it'll be as if they had dipped themselves in magic waters. The memories will be so thick they'll have to brush them away from their faces. People will come, Ray. The one constant through all the years, Ray, has been baseball. America has rolled by like an army of steamrollers. It's been erased like a blackboard, rebuilt and erased again. But baseball has marked the time. This field, this game, is a part of our past, Ray. It reminds us of all that was once good and that could be again. Oh, people will come, Ray. People will most definitely come because you built it, and therefore they will come. Like the thing was saying, all the whispers in the cornfield, they were right. That's the addendum that I added here to like tie everything together in a nice big bow.
People will come, right? It was great.
Okay. Then oh my god, Ricky. All right, we got to do a Ricky Rainbow now, apparently. All right, fine.
Luis, you broke our own rules, but
you broke your own
to.
rules.
You're allowed to.
You broke the rules. You broke the rules.
He did it for the Ceases, though.
He did. Okay.
So chaotic.
Well, it doesn't fit on top of the hat and on top of the thing. I'm not doing everything else.
You look great.
Okay, hold on. There we go. All right, I got to become Ricky. Hold on. All right, I have to think about being a mystery wrapped in an enigma. Wrapped in an egg roll. Okay, here we go.
In an egg roll.
I sit alone and watch you lie, my only friend through teenage nights, and everything I had to know, I heard it on my radio. You gave them all those old-time stars through walls of worlds invaded by Mars. You made them laugh, you made them cry, you made us feel like we could fly. So don't become some background noise, a background for the girls and boys who don't know or don't care and just complain when you're not there. You had your time, you had the power. You've yet to have your finest hour. All we hear is Radio Gaga, Radio Goo Goo, Radio Gaga. All we hear is Radio Gaga, Radio blah blah, Radio what's new, Radio someone still loves you, and it's me, it's Ricky Rainbow. I love you, or do I? Because you just don't know, do you? Because I'm a mystery, wrapped in an enigma, wrapped in an egg roll, wrapped in a flour tortilla that's been seasoned just so. I'm delicious. I'm Ricky Rainbow. All right.
We had some choice editions.
All right, here we go. All right. So here we go. We're gonna have a duet between you and I, and then a trio between myself and myself. Arja says, just another extra plug for talking softball. Thank you, Arja. Jambeer says, I didn't know Keanu Reeves just joined the show. It's very simple. It's like it's 70% Keanu Reeves and like 30% Butthead, and 5% actual Matt Riddle. So that's different. Here we go. One Lieutenant Photo says Linder and the Sheila are singing New York, New York. All right.
So I'll do the first verse, and then you do the second. I mean, you do I'll do the first verse, and then you do the hook, and the second verse. We'll figure it out. Okay,
I hear you.
Hold on. Start spreading the news. I'm leaving today. I want to be a part of it. New York, New York. These vagabond shoes are longing to stray right through the very heart of it. New York, New York.
I want to wake up in a city that doesn't sleep and find I'm king of the hill, top of the heap. These little town blues are melting away. I'll make a brand new start of it in old New York.
If we can make it there, we'll make it anywhere. It's up to us.
To you,
New York, New York.
New York.
There you go.
Toodles. They play that at all of your weddings.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
All of them.
All of them. All of them. Okay, so NCB and Tom LaValle wanted the same thing. Exactly. I don't know if they did this in concert, but they're doing it. Here we go. Tom LaValle says, all of Imperium sings Waterfalls by TLC. NCB41 says, hi, Kate and Alex. Can't watch any of the weekday shows live anymore. New work schedule. I would like to hear all of Imperium singing Waterfalls by TLC.
That's impressive. Also,
friends,
I'm so sorry you have to quit your new job.
I know. So
we can't allow that.
Yeah, no, it's true. All right, here we go. This is all of Imperium singing Waterfalls by TLC. Here we go.
A lonely mother gazing out of the window, staring at a son that she just can't touch. If at any time he's in a jam, she'll be by his side, but he doesn't realize he hurts her so much. But all the praying just ain't helping at all, because he can't seem to keep himself out of trouble. So he calls out and he makes his money the best way he knows how. Another body laying cold in the gutter. Listen to me. Don't go chasing waterfalls. Please stick to the rivers and the lakes that you're used to. I know that you're going to have it your way or nothing at all, but I think you're moving too fast. And little precious says a natural obsession for the temptation. But just again to see, she gives him a loving that his body can't handle. But all he can say is, baby, it's good to me. One day he goes and takes a glimpse in the mirror, but he don't recognize his own face. His health is fading, and he don't know why. The three letters took him to his final resting place. Y'all don't hear me. Don't go chasing waterfalls. Please stick to the rivers and the lakes that you're used to. I know that you're going to have it your way or nothing at all. But I think you're moving too fast. Don't go chasing the waterfalls. Play stick to the rivers and the lakes. You used to. I know that you're going to have it your way or nothing at all. But I think you're moving too fast.
I think it has so much to do with the fact that Ludwig is amazing, and then also that Gunther is just Arnold Schwarzenegger, and Giovanni is just an Italian pizzeria worker.
Yes.
So it's what
There
a
you go.
time.
And this, there you go. And listen, with apologies to Righteous Reg.
I don't apologize because this is cinema.
Allie is losing her shit because she missed Ricky Rainbow. That's hilarious.
She loves Ricky, and Louise bought it for her. She should be.
How dare you leave the whatever screen was playing it? You knew it was coming. I can't leave you alone. I must be here for you in your hour of need.
You got out of your tortilla to be here for Allie.
I crawled out of my tortilla to be here for you. Oh, now, but I'm still in my egg roll. I'm still in my egg roll wrapper. So you get part of me, but not the whole thing. Anyway,
this is a wrestling review.
You should eat strawberries and pasta salad by the screen that was showing the review show that we are currently doing for some reason. Anyway.
We have to go. I'm gonna cry.
We have to go. All right.
I love you guys. Everything else sucks, but this was
not this. This is great. There we go.
There it is.
Mm-hmm. Keep cool, gabagools.
And with your